Bueno, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días a la hora que estén viendo este día que estamos ya con el EIMA, ahí en el Caribe. Acá tenemos la pista donde se va a hacer el EIMA 2025. Es el primer aporte que estamos haciendo con Vladimir allá en Playa del Carmen. Y bueno, vamos a darle el seguimiento a estas charlas que hemos estado pactando alrededor de este encuentro. Hoy tenemos una charla interesante, va a ser en inglés, de hecho, porque nuestro invitado es de Belice. Él es Christopher Robert. Y bueno, a presentarlo ya. Vamos a cambiar el idioma justamente porque queremos integrar también a Belice, pues en esta lucha que estamos haciendo a nivel del atletismo, a nivel deportivo. Y bueno, está con nosotros el buen Christopher. ¿Cómo estás, Christopher? How is it going, man? How you doing?
It's going all right here at work, but very
A-
good.
Are you at the work, right?
Yes.
Well, how is it going, man? What do you do? Tell us about athletics. How do you are you sprinter? What do you run?
So I
¿Cuánto
am a long
corres?
distance runner. So I'm a long distance runner. My events is the 800 meters and the 1500 meters. And there'll be several occasionals. I will run 5Ks, 10Ks. The max I run is like a half marathon. So I'm
Cool.
mostly a long distance runner.
Have you been in the master competitions in Belize or in other places?
Well, no, I never been as much as I've heard about these races, but fortunately, when it comes to these races, it's not really much publicized or advertised more in our area. So when we hear about these events, it's last minute, and then if it's go to the association, then it's like that to do like last minute preparation and select who they could get to go and represent. So
And how does it work the athletics in Belize? It's a small country, right?
yes.
How does it work the athletic over there? ¿Cómo funciona? How is the process of the federation? How 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 does it work there?
Well, as it relates to track here, so we have the Belize Athletic Association and also we have the Olympics Committee as well. So normally when it comes to athleticism, normally we will have like, especially leading up to our track season, we will normally will have two time trials. Normally they will happen like earlier in part of the month, leading up towards nationals, because normally we follow the National Athletics Committee events that is normally used throughout the year, and then we just use that to set up more like hey when our time trials will take place, and then our nationals where all of us athletes will come together to compete for a chance of representing Belize outside internationally. And as much as in terms of how athletes get to go out, at once it was normally that all right, whatever the first, second that win at nationals will be the one to be selected. But however, that has been changed of recently now. So apparently now it's based on the standard time. And if the standard time does not correspond to the standard time that is promoted by the international committee level, then they will find, and then we have these diasporas that basically represent us mostly most of these events because they are the ones that have been training and reached that certain standard times. But and then you have a few Belizeans, but most of the sprinters that will be the one going. When it comes to long distance runners, there are not much represented here in Belize, except that we had two long distance runners that went for the cross country in Guatemala recently.
Yeah.
And as much as one of them, which is a Belize diaspora, only came in sixth for our area, and then the other two, it was the times were not official. So
Yeah. For the people of Mexico, do you have, well, this chat or this interview it's it's an effort to know, you know, what happened in Belize, because we are a neighborhood. We are
Yeah.
close countries. But how do you see Mexico in the athletics in general? How do you
Well,
see?
the way we look at Mexico is that Mexico is our neighboring nation. We have respect for each other. We do participate in one of the events, which is the Copa Revelacion, which is normally annually held in October every year. So we normally would send athletes to participate across at Mexico for that only. I remember I first participated back in 2019, which was my first track debut. At the time, I was doing the 400, managed to secure bronze, and then I got bronze again for the 4x1 relay. However, over the years now, selected few athletes get to go to the Copa Revelacion, and it's mostly the sprinters, the jumpers, and the throwers, but not the long distance. And as much as this year I am training to get a chance to go to the Copa Revelacion this year in Mexico to get that exposure that I had back in 2019. So I'm hopefully that as I go along. And the only issue that I could tell you that with Belize right now is that we have a lot of athletes that they're ready to send, but fortunately due to the the financial budget that we're going through right now, it's kind of hard to maintain that amount. So hence you will see Belize might send maybe two, three, or four because of budget. So in other words, we as athletes, we have to try our best to find the sponsorship
Yeah,
most in order to reach out to these events because the association can only do a little based on what they have.
that's true. So you have the same troubles we have in Mexico in the small topics, you know. In Belize it happens the same sometimes, with you don't have money, and also there are some topics of power, maybe, as you
Yeah,
know, you are politics science, or you told me historic, how do you say that is?
history. Yeah. So history or
Yeah, so
historia in Spanish, they will say.
yeah,
So I
you
am
can track
graduating
the
this year
history of
in
Belize.
October. So I'm graduating in October from the University of Belize with my bachelor's of history, and then hopefully I might pursue studying law, political science afterwards
What
in order
happened
to
with
reach
what
to my
happened?
career.
No, yeah, what happened with sports, with athletics in our area, you know, in Central America? What happened? Because it's the same. We have the same troubles, and we are from different countries, but we have the same troubles. So
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm. So what happened is that recently we had our elections in 2025 in March. We just received a new minister of sports, and recently there was a announcement from the minister of sports when
Yeah.
regards to the financing because the budget for just the ministry of sports alone is just 7.5 million. And
Okay.
out of that 7.5 million, 7 million went towards salaries, and the remaining, which is like 500,000, is basically used for
Yeah.
update the facilities and whatever programs they can utilize. So with that right there on a whole basically gives you like an insight that the remaining money that is there can
Yeah.
only do so much. So and then right now the association has been quiet of lately because there was a issue of power struggle of lately, but not any updates of any revision. But lately we did had some time trials, and we're hoping the awaiting of the announcement of nationals, which should be taking place on the 17th and 18th of May this year, because I think the car and the other races are coming up in June. I think like the ending part of June and then the other in end of July. And then we have the next athletics competition in Guatemala that will be in October, I think October, November, which
Also, the Copa
we're
Revolución in Playa del Carmen.
yeah.
Well, you have many troubles also, and thank you for share the topics that
Hmm.
all together we can cross as a American team, as
Yeah.
A Latin America team. So what's the topic of you told me yesterday the prime minister of Belize.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? That it's a pleasure to announce that in here in the program.
Yes. So it has been a passion as I grown up because I've been always follow up with the political news here in Belize, studying our leaders of the and also being involved in any of the activities lately. And it brings my passion because end of the day is that, you know, we have leaders, but at the point that we need to see new leaders, we're at a point now that you know, Belize is like we're having an issue right now with the power struggle lately.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, me myself is trying to work hard same time be able to shift Belize into the way that Belize should be up at top. And so it will be a hard process because it takes each and everyone to work together for the change. Because right now, with the whole ideologies, our political ideologies, it creates that split and that division, creating chaos, and we're not really united as it is. But hopefully, with me stepping up towards it, I could bring that change towards my country. And especially to help elevate more of our sports, especially track and field, because you know, me myself done track and I really want to help elevate the track as well, be able to bring up more of our athletes, be able to proper invest more in sports and be able to invest more in our facilities because we have one track of lately, which is the Marian Jones, and the way how the government has structured Marian Jones right now is at its worst state. It needs a whole reconstruction, and but based on the layout of our track in Belize, if they properly restructure it, we could have literally the biggest track in Central America. Actually, we could have two tracks that we can utilize, one for short distance and one for long distance. That way, it could. It's like we could have nationals instead of a 2 days event. We could just have everything in one day event, knowing that they are coordinated simultaneously. That's how I look at our tracking. These it could be big in Central Latin to have two tracks utilized and at the same time be able to bring in our Central American brothers and sisters to compete among us and to give us that experience and exposure to other talented athletes out there. So
Cool, cool. I have seen some other athletes in Mexico, Fred User Jr. and other athletes from throw and short distance too. So I hope you can we can make more efforts to be together in this new era of athletics. Because we need to do that in the order of remake the politics in sports maybe. So for the end of this interview, we don't know many things about Belize. What do you can uh, show or share about your country? How many people in your country live? The capital is Belmopan. I remember
yes,
in geography. Um,
yep,
I also I like the Garifuna collective music, but I know you have
yes, mhm.
more topics in
Yes, we
all
are a
around
diverse,
the Belize.
a
What
diverse
else
nation.
you can tell us about your country?
Well, so Belize is the only official English-speaking nation in Central America. Our population is at 400,000 people as of recently by our census. Our country is very diverse. We have the Creoles, the Garifuna, the Mestizos, the Maya. So we're like a melting pot of a nation. Um, we have our currency is 2 to 1 with the US. Our visa and recently we have created a new money design which is yet to be officiated within our country. It was just been revealed at the Central Bank of Belize of early this year. Um, our flag is the uniquest flag out of all the pictures, as you all might aware.
Yeah,
And we are home to our best barrier reef, our keys, ruins. It's a nice tourist destinational place
that's true.
where I want to visit. Yep.
No, thank you. Thanks a lot. And I hope many people from Latin America and Mexico know more about your country because it's amazing. I was in Dangriga and in San Jose, I think, not San Pedro. It's San Ignacio, I think. I don't remember
Mhm.
the places
Yeah.
south
Mhm.
of Belize. Thank you very
Mhm.
much, Christopher, for your view in this interview, and hope we can um, keep in touch about this new era in the athletics. And sorry for my English.
Yes.
I don't used to speak
I
in
know.
English.
It's okay. Eventually, I need to learn my Spanish as well, so that way it's more easier to. But yes, it's a pleasure to be on, and want to give a shout out to everyone in my hometown and also in Central American as well. We are here. We're willing to work together. Let's keep growing and let's keep on learning.
Yeah, each other. You have
It's
master.
unfortunate that.
Sorry. Tell me.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's sad that when I hear about the EMA in Mexico, this, like, I was interested, but at the same time, we have races as well. And even
Yeah,
though the Athletic Association don't really bring up this race, so it's like if we see it first in hand, it's like we will have to like either send it to them or we will try to see what we can do to get there. But it will have been a great pleasure to get exposure, but hopefully the Copa Revelación is I'm hoping to aiming to go there at least because I remember the experience there and I really want to relive that moment again. So
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. Hope you're gonna stay in Copa Revolucion this year.
Yep.
And the last
Yep.
question,
And
the last
mhm.
question: Do you have master athletics in Belize or don't have athletic in the master category? You know? I-
So whenever it comes to masters, the way how we do it in athleticism, as much as we break it down into the different categories, but the masters is normally is not really much mentioned as much because like for me myself, I'm already bypassing the U23 age going towards masters now. So we're hoping that with the Athletic Association that they will be able to focus on even elevating the masters so that the masters go because normally when we think about masters, you think about seniors, like those who are in their 40s, that they do go up. But I think like for the younger ones that enter into towards masters, I think we're hoping that they will focus more on the newer ones entering masters that still has the potentials to go there and to get the exposure as well. But again, it's all due to the finance. But me working with the government of the Ministry of Human Development, I'm working towards seeing how they can assist athletes, especially us in the workforce, to get that exposure and that experience best as possible. So it will take a long while, but one step at a time, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. Um, and Belize is a small country, so you know everybody.
Mhm.
It's a funny thing that in the sports we know each other. So in Belize,
Yeah.
it's easier to get the master degree in the athletics. So with the time you will see. I hope you're gonna fight for the prime minister topic, and then yeah, we're gonna chat about that after that. Thank you very
Yes,
much, Christopher,
definitely.
for the topic.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Yes.
Nice.
All right.
Hold on there, and voy a despedir el programa. Gracias a todas y
Mhm.
todos, ahí con mi inglés un poquito malonga, pero bueno, ahí platicamos un poco con Christopher sobre las condiciones que tienen en Belice, un poco sobre el tema del máster, está en construcción, así como la visión que tiene Christopher para que su país en un punto cambien también de condiciones y todo tiene un por qué, un para qué, y él lo está encontrando de a poco. Así que bueno, hemos estado en contacto con él y pues estamos luchando por un mejor deporte, una mejor sociedad desde muchos puntos de vista, así que le agradezco a él por sumarse a esta iniciativa de Leima y bueno, estamos en contacto, gracias a todas y todos. Por acá vamos a dejar los otros videos, y estamos en contacto. Cuídate mucho.